And welcome everybody to We Live It Sports. This is the complete game. As always, I am the host, Manny, partnered with Shawn. And this week and from now on, Eric Dillinger, head coach, Erie Baseball and baseball extraordinaire. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank
we
you,
love
man.
it.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys. So, Shawn, Flat Irons Fire and Design, they have new stuff going down every single week. Tell the people what they can find when they walk into your showroom.
Right now, we have an entire setup. We revamped our entire back area. We added 2 more grill lines. I think you guys are familiar. Lynx is a high-end one, and Twin Eagle. Those displays will be coming here very shortly, just getting you ready for your summer barbecue. So come on down, take a look. We got 9 different grill setups that you could take a look at.
So you made it even better than when I was there last week?
Yeah, we did, man. Just 1 week later. So we're always making changes, so come down anytime you can.
All right, so explain it to a caveman like me. What makes a good grill? Because I mean, the $59.99 one that you get at Lowe's or Home Depot, it doesn't compare anything to what you have over there. What do they get when they have a top of the line grill?
So you get a higher end steel, a way better cooking surface that's a nice even burn throughout. I know that some older grills that I used to have, you cook a steak on one side and then the right side's burning, so you don't have an even burn. And then lifetime warranties on every single grill that we sell here. So with all the weather that we have, my cover always flies off with all the wind that's happening. And then a rainstorm comes down and then you start getting a little bit of rust. Lifetime warranty on parts and labor. So,
well, you had me sold at better food and a lifetime warranty. It is done. Get me one of those. I might have to put it on a payment plan. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
You had been on the show, but you just had so much other stuff going on. You're the head coach at Erie Baseball. How did Erie Baseball finish up this year, and what do things look like for you here in June?
Yeah, it was an incredible year. So we just moved up to the 5A level a couple years back. We ended up finishing 22-3 this year. So we won the most games at the 5A level, and we lost the least amount of games. Unfortunately, we lost that 3rd game at the wrong time in the regional championship against a good Mountain Vista team, some great arms. But yeah, we had a fantastic year. We had a player up for the Gatorade Colorado Player of the Year. He fell just short of that, but incredible season. He's got a chance to get drafted next month, which is pretty sweet. He's headed off to BYU. If not, we've got a bunch of guys that are going on to play college baseball. But it was an awesome run with a great group of kids. So in June, I'm starting to ramp up writing for 3/4 slot. I think I mentioned that last time I was on the show. We're a scouting service. We scout high school guys. We scout college guys. All the top guys that we're covering for the draft here coming up in July. I think I mentioned to you guys too, I've got 3 boys, all 3 of which are playing. 2 will play college baseball next year. I've got a 13-year-old that is doing the same thing, traveling the country playing. So just baseball all the time.
Baseball all the time. So that is why we love to have you here, because you really got your pulse on the high school level and NCAA level. Shawn, he is our MLB expert, and I'm just the guy that talks a whole lot. So we have the 2 best people to be talking baseball right now, but let's do it. Let's do what we came here to do. MLB Power Rankings 1 through 5. So I'm going to give you my top 5. You tell me what I got right. You tell me what I got wrong, and you can tell me where you have your top 5 at right now. So right now, I'm going to start at the bottom. Number 5, the Seattle Mariners. This is a team that should have been in the top 5 the whole time. They are finally starting to figure it out. Number 4, the New York Yankees. I mean, I still cannot wear my Yankees hat because they are only half a game behind the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays are absolutely skidding. They skidded so far, they are no longer in my top 5. But so did the Yankees at the same time. So they didn't make up too much ground there. The Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, what a great team. They are just so fun to watch. They could pitch and they could hit. You really can't ask for any more when it comes to a baseball team. The LA Dodgers, I mean, they're just going to be perennially on here. They go from number 1 to number 3, but they're just going to be in that range. That's just who they are. But every single week, we have the Atlanta Braves. I mean, they're just a complete team. Ronald Acuna Jr., my favorite baseball player playing right now. Shawn, you always got something to say. You always bring me back down to reality. You set my head straight. What do you like in the top 5?
when I saw your list today, I smiled because we actually have the exact same list from top to bottom. Seattle, I was flirting with maybe moving them to 4 over the Yankees. They are on fire right now. They've hit 14 home runs in the last 5 games. And this is the team, like you said, is with high expectations. They were one game away from going to the World Series last year. I think they're back to that point now. Yankees at 4. We'll talk about it later with this really bad injury that may happen with Judge out for quite some time, in my opinion. Hopefully that brings up young arms like Spencer Jones. Jason Dominguez might be back. But the Yankees only go as far as their starting pitching goes. Cam Schlittler and Garrett Cole had a rough week the past 2 games against Cleveland, so we'll see how that goes. They just can't play any good teams. Number 3, the Brewers. Mizorowski had one of the greatest months ever, and he still finished second for pitcher of the month in the National League. So those numbers are crazy to be second best with behind Suarez over there. And number 2, Dodgers. They may start creeping up to number 1 the way that they've been playing lately. And then obviously the Braves just play full, complete baseball right now.
I'd love to hear it. Eric, you're the man with the eye for this. Who is in your top 5?
I honestly have the same top 5 as you guys. We could probably potentially flip-flop the Braves and the Dodgers, but I love what the Braves are doing, especially, they had a playoff run from 2017. Last year was the first time they hadn't made it since 2017. To see the turnaround this year, they're healthy. Strider's pitching obviously well. They've got Chris Sale healthy. A lot of good things happening there. Walt Weiss, obviously a new voice in the clubhouse for them, has done a great job. So I might interchange those 2. Love the Brewers as well. I'm a pitching guy. Mizorowski, watching that, as you just said, Shawn, was incredible. And to finish second, unbelievable based on what Sanchez has been doing. But I'm in agreement with you guys.
Okay, I love to hear it. It just gives me a sense that I'm not the overreacting Yankees fan that I am every single week. Basically, the Yankees, they play terrible. I'm like, they're the worst team ever. Don't even have them in the top 5. Then next week, they're number 1. So having you guys here keeps me grounded. But Eric, Coach Eric, NCAA Regionals, they're going on right now. You are tuned in. You are locked in, probably better than anybody in the game right now. What happened and what is there to look out for in the upcoming games?
Well, you guys are obviously aware of March Madness on the basketball side. The NCAA baseball, it's starting to grow. The energy around the sport is starting to grow. You're starting to see it more on television. It's just a different vibe. And watching last weekend, the number of upsets, the number of things that took place. Now, the national number 1 seed, UCLA, was wire-to-wire number 1. They're gone. Georgia Tech, top 4 team all year, they're gone. They were the number 2 national seed. So just seeing the parity in the game has been really, really cool. I've got a son who's playing Division I college baseball right now, so obviously that's partly why I'm so in tune with it. But it's been interesting. Last year was the first year since 1957 that there were 8 new teams in Omaha. This year, the same thing's going to happen, which is crazy in back-to-back years. So a lot of cool stuff happening there. We may talk about the potential lockout later too. So college baseball may get propelled even further because that may be all we have here pretty soon. So big fan of it. A lot of cool things that happened. Like I said, the energy is just different. Excited to watch the Super Regionals this weekend. It'll be fun. There'll be some teams that we didn't expect to see there in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and word on the street is Ethan Dillinger. He had a hell of a game against New Mexico. Tell us about that.
He did, yeah. So Ethan he was a junior. He's now a senior. They were in an elimination game in the Mountain West Conference tournament. Air Force was picked to finish dead last in the Mountain West. They ended up finishing 3rd in the regular season. Got through the play-in game against UNLV. Ended up losing to Washington State, who was the eventual winner of the Mountain West. And then they played an elimination game the following morning, like 10 hours later, 9 o'clock in the morning, down in Arizona at Sloan's Park, where the Cubs play their spring training, and ended up throwing a complete game, which is really cool. He hasn't done that. That hasn't been done since 2024 for the Falcons. So very cool moment. It actually happened. My other son, Evan, was in the middle of high school graduation from Erie High School. So I was watching the first 5 innings on my phone and trying to pay attention to my son graduate. So it was pretty intense. Raced home, got to watch the end of it. It was pretty sweet.
Wow. What if there's a better example of wishing you could be in 2 places at one time, I don't think that there is a better example of that. I mean, graduation is such a great accomplishment, but let's be real. A complete game might be the bigger accomplishment, but you don't need to answer that. You don't need to answer. You don't need to answer that. But I'm just speaking for myself here. Speaking of great accomplishments, Cristopher Sanchez, just recently had his shutout streak end. This man, get this, went 50 and 2/3 innings scoreless. It went over a month. He finally gave up a run after 663 pitches, 190 batters faced. Shawn, where does this streak live this far into the 2026 season?
I think this is very impressive. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think this may soon be the new norm, just the way hitting is going, and the increased velocity that we're seeing from a lot of these players. Starting pitchers are throwing well over 100 miles per hour. That's usually something that we saw in the closer role or in a relief pitching role. But I think this is going to start to be the new norm. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when I grew up watching baseball, I think when you watched it on TV, if somebody threw like 95, it would get the little flame on it. Now, if you don't have 95, you don't got nothing. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. Mizorowski, he's averaging, well, I shouldn't say he's averaging, that's an exaggeration, but he is consistently pitching over 100 miles an hour as a starting pitcher. I thought like guys threw that every once in a while. Mason Miller, he's doing that all the time. It is just absolutely wild. Coach Eric, when you are watching these pitchers as they develop just so far outpace the batting in Major League Baseball, give me your initial thoughts.
It's interesting. I am seeing adjustments on the hitting side as well, at least at the high school level. So we had a kid this year. I mentioned Maddox Burnett, potential Colorado Player of the Year. Maddox has been up to 97. He's consistently sitting 92 to 94. 10 years ago, high school hitters weren't squaring that up. In 2026, high school hitters, I mean, they're not squaring him up. He's a great pitcher. But their ability to adjust to that velocity is pretty impressive. So I totally agree with you. Good pitching, in my mind, always overtakes good hitting, or usually overtakes good hitting. But I don't know. I think these guys will continue to make adjustments. How much faster can these guys get, or how much more velocity can these guys get is interesting. And you see Mason Miller, I mean, we've seen 104, 105, obviously not consistently, but there's only so much the human body can take. So I think hitters will continue to make adjustments. But yeah, it's incredibly impressive, especially with Sanchez, going back to that, what he did. Oral Hershiser in 1988, I was actually alive for that. I don't know if you guys were, but I was alive for that. I was 8 years old, and 59 innings scoreless was pretty incredible. So to do what he did, I mean, he wasn't that far off. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, when you think about it. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Shawn.
I was just going to ask Eric, do you see a lot of the high school or younger hitters, are they hitting for contact, or are they hitting for power like we're seeing in the pros?
Honestly, both, man. It's both. We've got guys who, I mean, I saw more home runs this year than I've seen, and a lot of it is a result of the velocity, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, it's a mix of both. We played, like I said, a good Mountain Vista team in the playoffs. They were super impressive. I mean, Maddox is a damn good pitcher, and he, they got to him a little bit. We didn't face a ton of adversity this year at 22-3, but they made adjustments, and it happens. But yeah, we saw it across the board. There's some good arms out there, but there's some great athletes that are making adjustments in the box too.
What are those adjustments that you can make to higher velocity? Because, I mean, the league-wide batting average is down. So I'm sure this has to be a conversation in the clubhouses. What are some of the things that are being talked about behind closed doors? For me? Just in general, yeah. You're a coach in the MLB, and you got to coach your players like, hey, tomorrow we got Mizorowski. He's going to be throwing 101. What are you saying to your players? Honestly, I think a lot of it is just the sheer body type, the strength and conditioning that happens. I pitched in the late 90s, early 2000s. I would smoke a cigarette behind the dugout and go out and throw 6 innings. And that's not what these guys are doing now. They are just these guys physically what they do. Like, I've got a son, Evan, who's a senior, just graduated. He's going to play college baseball next year. He's in the gym 5 days a week doing things that I was never doing. So I think physically these guys are just in a completely different place than they used to be. That would be from my perspective, I think that's one of the biggest factors in why they're able to do what they're able to do. Okay. Build up a strong foundation. But I want to hear from both of you. What is more impressive? A really long scoreless innings streak or a consecutive game hitting streak? Shawn, tell me what your thoughts.
I think the consecutive hitting, because One, starting pitchers are only going maybe 5. So they're seeing probably 3 different pitchers a night. So if they ever got to even a 30-game hit streak, that's, way up there now to close to the 56 that DiMaggio had back in the day, in my opinion. I know it's half the games, but that's just as impressive seeing that many different arms.
Okay, Eric, what's your thoughts?
Totally agree with Shawn. I'm a pitching guy, but totally agree with Shawn. I mean, it's good pitching does, generally speaking, like I said, take out good hitting. So to be able to do that consistently for that long, I definitely agree with Shawn.
Okay. Well, I actually disagree with both of you because I think it is pitching. I mean, what this man did, think about this, 663 pitches, not one accidental home run, not one hanging curveball, not one hanging slider, 190 batters faced. He pitched 50 2/3 innings. Let's say a good starting pitcher, especially one that is on a consecutive scoreless innings streak, he's going to pitch about 7 innings. Just my public school math here, but that's about 7 games. This man went 7 games without making a mistake. That is more impressive to me. But I also love your take on the hitting streak because I mean none of it's easy. Let's be real about it. So Eric, you are very well versed in Colorado high school playoffs. More so than anybody I know, what is going down and what should people expect and where can they tune in to watch some of these games go down?
Well, playoffs we just wrapped up the state tournament last weekend. So Regis Jesuit won their first state title since 2019.
Oh, okay, so it's over. Okay.
Yep. So historically, a great program. It was just like we mentioned with the NCAA playoffs. There were some huge upsets, some crazy things that happened. We were the number 3 seed in the state going in, and the number 14 seed took us out. So it happens. Baseball's crazy, as you guys know. So there was some great stuff that happened. One of the big highlights from the playoffs this year was the Legend Titans, number 26 seed. Ironically, I'm a head coach, and I got a son that plays at the Air Force Academy. The head coach at Legend High School actually also has a son that plays at the Air Force Academy. Interesting story. Tyler Harvey, one of their best pitchers, he was committed to UNLV, ended up passing away last fall from sarcoma. They, as the 26th seed, they made a magical run through the playoffs. They were in what, in my opinion, the second most difficult region for regionals against Cherry Creek, a normal powerhouse, Rocky Mountain, normal powerhouse. Took both of those teams out and ended up getting to the state championship and then making it to the Final Four. So no one saw that coming, but just a very cool run for them, given what they were dealing with and honoring their fallen teammate. But just a really cool story there. Who did end up winning the Gatorade Colorado Player of the Year, Cooper Vase from Arvada West. He's committed to the University of Texas. Mentioned I write for 3/4 slot. I actually did a draft report on him a couple months ago. Great player on both sides of the ball. I get a .62 ERA, was 13-0, led A West to the championship game, pitched a huge game before that to get them there, and he did it at the plate too. So just an incredible player there going to the University of Texas. Who knows? He's going to be a senior next year, so Colorado's got to deal with him again. He's got a shot to potentially get drafted next year, just given what he's doing. But yeah, really cool stuff there. And playoffs in high school baseball are always great too. Lots of surprises, lots of good stuff happening. But that just wrapped up last week.
Okay, well, that is exciting. I'm bummed that I missed it. But yeah, I mean, Arvada West, they've produced another good arm. Am I right?
Sure did. So actually, ironically, my first base coach is named Eric McMaster. He was teammates with Roy Halladay at Arvada West. Eric ended up getting drafted by the Brewers out of University of Southern Mississippi. And played with Roy Halladay, was very close with Roy Halladay. So very cool connection there. He still got his Arvada State ring from 1994. Likes to show that off. But yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, Denver local legend Roy Halladay. I mean, I loved watching him pitch, and it really gave me I don't know what's the best way to say it. It gave me some belief that somebody could come from here and make it to where Roy Halladay did. I didn't even come anywhere close, but when you need inspiration, it is great to have players like that to look up for. Roy Halladay, one of the best, rest in peace. Unfortunately, might be looking at the 2027 season as a thing of the past and something that only exists in our imagination. Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner, he just came out and he said that the labor negotiations could lead to a 1994 and 1995 type like strike. Shawn, you've been locked into this basically the whole time. What are your thoughts on the commission coming out and saying this?
He basically said everything that we're thinking about. Like I said last episode, I'm around the 85-90% chance that we are going to have a strike. The good thing is it does expire in December, so we have 6 months, and I'm glad that they're trying to press it forward as much as possible so we can avoid this. But they are so far apart that I don't see anything changing. I do think if we will have a 2027 season, it is going to start late, so maybe end of May, early June, and we're not going to have the spring training, so we will have some ugly baseball if we get any next year.
No spring training. That should be very entertaining. The very, very first time that salary cap was ever proposed since 1994, 1995 was this week. And here's what the MLB proposed. A firm salary cap of $245.3 million with a hard floor of $171.2 million. Just to put this in perspective of the difference in spending on teams, the two-time champs, the Los Angeles Dodgers, they spent $346 million per season during their World Series runs, and $169 million just in luxury tax penalties. That tax bill alone is more than the entire Miami Marlins payroll. Just to put that in perspective. Can anything good come from this potential holdout?
I don't think so. I think that salary cap may be too low. The floor is probably where it needs to be, but it needs to be around the 300 million salary cap. I think if they want to even get to that number, and they definitely need to have some sort of floor. Giancarlo Stanton is going to be the number one player on the Marlins payroll, and he hasn't played there since 2017. So
okay, that's a good perspective. Eric, with all this stuff going on, give me your thoughts on the potential lockout. And I mean, is there any hope for baseball fans at the end of the tunnel?
If we do miss any portion of this, I think it's devastating. I don't know if I told you guys. I see, Shawn, you got the Yankee hat. Manny, I know you're a Yankee fan. I grew up in upstate New York, huge Yankee fan. Lived through the garbage 80s years and early 90s. And in 1994, the Yankees were in first place in August, and season was done. I was 14 years old, and I was absolutely devastated. So it took a while for, not that I stopped watching or anything like that, but it took a while for the sport to come back from that. Like Shawn said, I agree. I think the floor is something that's got to happen. I think that's the one good that could come out of this. I just hope we don't lose too much of it before they find common ground to get to that place. But I like I said, I lived through that 94, 95. That was tough. That was really tough. Really don't want to see that. But like Shawn said, given the fact that it expires in December, we've got some time. Hopefully they can come closer and understand what it means and what it would mean if we didn't have it.
I am a little more optimistic than Shawn. I'm going to put my percentage closer to 50-50. There is the one deciding factor, the one thing that everybody agrees on is money. They lock themselves out. There is no money. No ticket sales, no concessions, no opening day. They're going to miss all of it. So I hope that they can get their head on straight and figure this out. There always has to be something in the middle. I hope they can meet in the middle. Like you said, raise the salary cap. I'm sure the MLB teams are probably going to want to drop the floor if they raise the salary cap, but there has to be middle ground. Otherwise, we are going to be missing the game that we love. One team, as all Yankees fans here, I'm glad to hear that you're a Yankees fan, Coach. One team that is they're just an easy target this season. The Boston Red Sox, they are just a absolute clown show right now. I don't know if you guys saw this, but we're going to put up the video if we can. But the Boston Red Sox, they had an interim third base coach. And for those that don't know, the third base coach, he relays the signals, to the batter, anything that comes in, and he either tells the runner at third base to stop or go home. He did none of those things on this. he was waving the runner home, got too excited. I don't know what was going on. Ran out onto the field, realized what he was doing, and then ran back off. Shawn, did you catch that?
I did. It's hilarious. That's a beautiful thing about baseball. You think you've seen everything until you haven't. So there's always something new, and that's one that we may never see again. And I'm glad we did. I'm glad it was them, for sure.
Absolutely. Them or the Mets. I mean, they have just been the lowest hanging fruit for us to crack jokes on the show. Coach Eric, as a head coach, what were your initial thoughts when you saw that?
I woke up to text messages from my coaching staff this morning, like, you got to try this. You got to try this. Because I man third base at Erie. I could not believe what I was seeing. I've probably watched it 12 to 15 times, and I don't know how he got into that position. I'm not sure what he was potentially thinking. And to coach at that level, you got to be doing this for a while.
His whole life.
I don't know how he got there, but I had the same thoughts you guys, that I was baffled, completely baffled. But yeah, I might give it a shot at Erie next year. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I was just absolutely baffled how he just got too excited. He got ants in his pants and just started running around crazy. I don't know what was going on. It was treated as kind of like a no harm, no foul thing. I didn't really see any repercussions come from it. But I mean, if I was the Orioles coach, I would have been losing my mind. I would have made up every story, every excuse in the book. He distracted the outfielder. He couldn't make a good throw. He got in the way of my third baseman, and he couldn't make his cut throw. Whatever. I would have said anything, and they just treated it like it was nothing. Shawn, what's your thoughts? Somebody does this again. What should be the punishment?
Oh yeah, you got to go back. You definitely have to go back or get an out. It's no different than interference from a player in field. So it has to be treated that way, unless it's one of our teams, and of course it's totally fine.
Yeah, if the Yankees did it, I'd be like, give him a break. But Eric, what's your thoughts? What should happen when that happens?
I think this is a one-off type thing. Like you said, no harm, no foul. I've probably done some silly things in the third base box that I'm unaware of. Maybe not quite to that degree, getting in the middle of the field, but I would hope he'd learn from it. And there's not an instance like that again. I don't know if there's anything that needs to necessarily happen, but yeah, something for us to laugh at in the middle of the season. I was good with it.
Well, I think you would remember if you ever ran out onto the field in the middle of a play. Yeah. So I don't think you did anything that bad. As Yankees fans, we are all just reveling and waiting for the news about Aaron Judge. Today marks his third straight game missed with a mysterious injury. It's just reported that it's a bone bruise that is causing shoulder pain. Just very, very mysterious how they can't pinpoint this. Shawn, we were talking a little bit off air, and you have some background knowledge. What seems to be going on with Aaron Judge?
They're sending him to a specialist in Texas who specializes in TOS. It's a surgery procedure that may be done. Steven Strasburg got this done. Matt Harvey got this done. Players don't typically come back stronger from this. They usually have a huge decline in their careers. It's very rare for position players. It's mostly pitchers that go through this. So we'll see. Obviously, science has been getting better over the years, but I am very doubtful that he plays for probably minimum the injury timeline is 3 to 10 months from him to come back.
Okay, well, you just ruined my day. Eric, what are your thoughts on Aaron Judge missing potentially the whole season, and where does this leave the Yankees, especially in the AL East with a very scrappy Tampa Bay Rays team?
Yeah, I don't think that just hurts the Yankees. Obviously it does, but that hurts baseball. Having him around is a big deal. So obviously most of us don't want to see that happen. Those types of injuries are freaky. Anything with your rib cage, anytime. I mean, you don't realize how much you use something like that until you have an issue, and it's a big time issue. And it, like Shawn said, I mean, the timetable for recovery, because you use that area so much, is so long. It's a tough one to come back from. So really hoping that's not the case for baseball's sake and for the Yankees' sake. But yeah, it's not a great spot to be in. I've had players that have had similar injuries with rib cage, oblique, that kind of thing, and it's a tough thing to come back from. It's interesting to me that it's causing the shoulder issues. That is interesting, but who knows? I mean, those things, they're just freaky injuries.
Yeah, and it's kind of been lingering. I mean, the injury hasn't been announced until fairly recently, but his performance has been down over the last 3 weeks to a month. So you could tell something was wrong. He just wasn't the same player. All the props to him for gutting it out. You know, I've had broken ribs before. I couldn't even eat soup effectively. So the fact he was out there playing Major League Baseball just shows what type of competitor that he is. One competitor that we do have right now, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this man, he went another 6 more scoreless innings. And this stat just absolutely blew my mind because I was watching ESPN when I got home from the gym yesterday, and I was trying to make sense of this. You know, it is on the ticker, Shohei Ohtani, 6 innings scoreless and had all that, however many Ks that he had. And then it said 3 to 4. And I'm like, what is 3 to 4? Like he went 3 to 4 innings, or it just didn't even register in my mind. The man went 3 and 4 at the plate. I mean, just the numbers don't even make sense. It took a good 30 seconds for it to even compute in my brain. Shawn, is Shohei Ohtani shaping up to be the best player to ever play baseball?
It sure seems like it, and I think he will play for another decade, well beyond his current contract that was 10 years. So this is year 3 of that, so 7 more following. I think he plays another decade at a high level. He definitely takes care of himself. He lives and breathes the sport just as much as Eric, I think, and just at a high level. And he's completely focused on his pitching. I think I've said earlier shows that, he's focused on just getting that Cy Young, trying something new that he hasn't accomplished yet. And now he's just back to his old self at the plate. So he's going to be the huge factor to carry them in the National League.
Yeah, I mean, the man is a robot. He's an alien. He's a cyborg. He doesn't even exist in this world. Like I said, I couldn't comprehend what I was seeing last night. I'm going to give you guys some stats. So last night, he threw 6 scoreless innings. He reached base 5 times in one game. This is the first time in 62 years someone has thrown 6 or more scoreless innings and reached base 5 times in one game. But that's not all of it. Only 3 players in the modern era, which started in 1900, have done the same thing. July 30th, 1920, May 23rd, 1951, and September 26th, 1964. That's what we're talking about. That's how historical his performance was last night. But this isn't even the first time Shohei has reached the base 5 times in a game that he has pitched. He also did it with the Angels. And now his ERA of 0.74 on the season through 10 starts, that's not just the lowest starting among pitchers with at least 60 innings pitched. This is the 3rd lowest since ERA became a stat. Eric, after hearing all of that, what is the future? How are we going to remember Shohei Ohtani if he stays on this path?
The greatest player of all time. I don't think there's even I want to say a close second. My players think I was around to watch Babe Ruth. I was not. What you just said it all. I mean, I don't need to regurgitate anything else. What he's doing at the level he's doing it at on both sides of the ball is absolutely insane. I mean, when he came into the league, when they were talking about the fact that he was going to do, I figured at some point he would break off and do one or the other. And that there's no signs of that taking place. So what he's doing is absolutely insane. Shawn, you said it with the Cy Young. I would not be surprised if he pulls that off this year. It's just incredible. He in my mind, even before this year, I thought he was or is the greatest player to ever lace him up. I know baseball, we're about stats. I just think with what he's done already at this level, with what we've talked about, the velocity, I mean, just what's happening on the baseball field now as opposed to what was happening back in the 70s and 80s, it's crazy what he's doing.
Yeah, it's just very frustrating that he does not play for the Yankees because, I mean, he is going to be an absolute force. The only question that I have is how long can he keep up this pace? I mean, to be throwing 100 miles an hour, 6 scoreless innings, and then turning around and doing what he's doing. And people also forget he hasn't done it so much recently, but the man can steal bases. It's just absolutely wild to watch. Something I never thought would be possible. Like I said, just reading that stat line yesterday took me a good 30 seconds just to even figure out what was going on. I thought ESPN made a typo. That's what he is. He's a typo when it comes to baseball stats. Just absolutely phenomenal. I give him all the credit in the world because I hope that shows and opens the minds of younger players that you can be a great pitcher, you can be a great hitter, you can steal bases. You don't have to fit into one lane. No matter how much people want to put you in a box, you can always be Shohei Ohtani. So that wraps it up for this show. Thank you guys so much. I had a blast doing it with you. Shawn, what is happening at Flatirons Fireplaces? How can people find you, and how can they get the perfect setup for their summer?
Yes, definitely visit our website. We have all of our product lines on there. We're still adding some pretty much every week. Have a whole team that could, add product for us. Tons of things to come into our showroom, whether you're doing anything outdoors, doing any changes inside your house. We have a fireplace for any room, any spot. We have fireplaces with gas products that you don't need a vent, with bioethanol fuel. Come in here. We'll be able to talk about that. Come into our showroom. We're off 58th and I-25. Like I said, visit our website, give us a call, put a product inquiry on our website, and I'll get back to you that same night.
And Shawn, you always sell yourself short, my man. You are keeping people healthy too. You got the saunas and you got the cold tubs. Someone goes out there and throws 6 scoreless innings, reaches base 5 times. You got to sit in the cold tub. What kind of options you got for those guys?
Yeah, we have a cold plunge with chill therapy. It goes from 104 degrees all the way down to 34 degrees. So if you wanted a nice spa, wait a couple hours, turn that into a cold plunge, go back and forth with your sauna. That's what a lot of people are doing right now. Come in, take a look at it. All the top technology right now.
You are absolutely blowing my mind right now. I didn't even know that product existed. So check him out, Flatirons Fire and Design. Shawn will take great care of you. I walked into their showroom last week. It was amazing. Coach Eric, what do you have going on, and where can people find you, and how can they better be associated and a part of this great Colorado baseball community you've built?
Yeah, so general manager at DBAT Northwest Denver in Lafayette. I think I mentioned the last time I was on the show. I know it's been a couple months. We were getting close to opening a second facility, but that'll be happening in mid-August of this year on 73rd and Washington. So Shawn, not that far from you. Hopefully you come hit. Yep, we'll have 16 batting cages. We've got machine cages. We do lessons. We do parties. We do all sorts of stuff at both locations. So we're really excited to open that second one on 73rd and Washington here coming up. So when I'm not in season with Erie, that's where you'll find me. And again, writing for a 3/4 slot, that's something we're pretty proud of. We put out something. I think we put out something every single day for the last 550 or so days. A scouting report on somebody, whether it be a high school guy, college guy, some kind of content we're putting out every day. So you can find that at 3/4 slot on X, and then 3/4slot.com.
That is great, because there needs to be more done in our community for the up and coming baseball players. They just have to be highlighted. They have to be talked about, because so much great talent comes from right here in Colorado. We talked about Roy Halladay. I mean, there's just numerous others that have played in the major leagues, and you are doing to keep those players on the forefront is great work. So keep it up. We're excited to have you on the show every single week. So tune in every single week at We Live It Sports on YouTube. Follow our socials, because we're going to be breaking down the game that we love. We'll see you next week.